Hey, and
Dude,
we
I love the intro.
Dude, it's so funny.
It's so fun.
That song cracks me up every time.
I wanted to sing along, but I wasn't sure if it would come through during the intro.
Hopefully everybody at home was singing along.
Yeah. Oh, it's catchy. It's catchy. Yeah. Super easy to learn too, right? It's like 7 words.
I can rhyme over and over. Dude, I used an AI chat thing to make that. It's so cool. That's cool. I did one for almost all our channels, just stupid little song. So funny.
It's crazy how far technology has come now.
Oh, dude.
You know, 10 years ago, you would have to pay somebody to do that.
When you put me onto that chat GPT thing, dude, I use it all the time now.
It's sick, right?
Yeah. Tonight we got Paul Passmore, and he just joined us. So let me add him. There we go.
There he is. What's up, buddy?
What's up, gentlemen? Can y'all hear me good? Everything working right?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Perfect.
That's always a good way to start out, where your audio and everything lines up correctly.
Yeah,
right.
I'm probably one of the few people that actually have a home computer set up to where they can do a decent quality podcast.
Yeah, most people go from their phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
That's what I used to do, and I decided I'd go ahead and invest a little bit. It actually, and then I got kind of promoted from being a hands-on type laborer up into upper management at a company. So I had to make me a nice home office. And
nice.
It looks like NASA in here. If you can see it from mine, I got like 250-inch screens and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
Well, this is our new What's Next for You podcast. Basically, where we're just going to highlight arm wrestlers, up and comers, even top level guys and promoters, anybody in the sport that's doing good things for the sport or themselves, to give them a platform and get the word out. So thank you for coming on. You're one of our first guests. So this is great.
Yeah, I tell you, man, if I'm not, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I was on your very first or second podcast ever, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was. I might have been your first guest. If not, it was the second one. I can't quite remember. We talked about some pancakes and waffles and
Yeah. That was way back. Remember when you came to our first tournament actually, and you pulled Mike Aiello and Brandon Elsesser in like a 3-way match.
Yeah, that was definitely not my day. Well, I'll tell you that it actually plays in a little bit with the story of my left a little bit. So when I had scheduled that match with y'all, I had a match with Lindley Keating in Texas, and that was already set. And then the next 2 weeks later, I had the Georgia Arm Fights round robin. And then 2 weeks after that, I was supposed to go pull Elsesser left. And for some reason, I thought that doing a hard tournament or match like that every 2 weeks for 3 in a row was a good idea. And it turned out not to be. That was the last time my left was ever really 100%, was when I went and pulled Lindley. I pulled Lindley. It went my way very well. That was the last time I put the best version of my left on the table. And then we were after pulling, and it was a really nice bar on a really nice lake, and the weather was wonderful, and I got drunk as hell and was pulling everybody. I got about a fifth of whiskey, and it was just, I had a line of people. My right arm was still boogered up, so I was just holding everybody and playing with, and there were some pretty high-level guys, and I was just playing around with everybody left, and I did it for a long time. And then we went out to a nice steakhouse afterwards, and I reached out right when we sat down for the bread rolls, and something in my left shoulder was like, pow. I was like, oh, that ain't good. And it hurt. I don't know what it was. My left has not been the same since. And then I went ahead and pulled that round robin with it 2 weeks later. And I got in a bad spot with Jerome Loud, and something popped. And when it popped in Texas, something popped in the back. And then when it popped in the round robin, something popped in the front. And then if you remember, I had to back out of my match that was supposed to be left-handed with Elsesser. and then put my not recovered yet right arm on the table just so we didn't waste the money that y'all had already put into flying me out there. So I'd pull somebody, and I convinced myself that I had a chance right-handed, and then got up there and just got my poor old right arm ripped off by Mike and Brandon, and I couldn't even pull anybody left. So that was just a bad outing for me all around. I was like, dang it, I shouldn't have scheduled all that right on top of each other. I bit off more than I could chew.
Is this what led to your surgery?
Well, no. So my right arm, I had already broken it and had the surgery, and it was recovering, and it was enough to where I could pull, but I couldn't. It wasn't ready to pull guys on that level. It was, a good tournament arm. Now it's kind of funny. My left took the brunt for a couple of years and took all that abuse, and it's kind of beat up now. And I'd convinced myself it wasn't as beat up as it is, but in all honesty, when I'm in the gym, I'm probably 25% stronger on all my functional arm wrestling movements with my right. Now that my right's fully recovered, it's great. It's better than it's ever been. And my left's the one that's beat up. And, and it's still a good tournament arm. But let's just say if I'm pulling 100 pounds with my right arm on the power pull table for reps, I'm doing the same effort with somewhere between 50 and 75 pounds on the left, So I'm one of those. I like to fight regardless, and I don't make excuses. So if I can, I'm going to show up in arm wrestle. I'm getting some. Are y'all hearing that?
Yeah, there's some like background sound of something.
It's my mic. I don't think it's my mic either.
Is it me?
Yeah, I think it's you. Are you watching YouTube at the same time?
No, it's my wife. She's super supportive and watching me in the living room. Yeah,
because I kept hearing my voice playing it back. But yeah, so what ended up happening was I decided I was still going to pull left-handed, and in my mind I felt good, and it wasn't that I underestimated Uncle John or anything, but I jumped in that match this weekend and was kind of shown the hard way, just like when I went to your tournament in Philadelphia. I convinced myself my right was going to be okay to pull Mike and Brandon, and it wasn't, and the same thing kind of happened. I'd convinced myself I'd be okay to pull somebody on John's level left-handed, and
he's very underestimated.
Yeah, and it's not even that I really underestimated him. I just thought my left was, if my left was where my right was at, I don't know how it would have went, but it would have been better. But I took a pretty good ass kicking on Sunday, so that's the best way I learn is the hard way. So I learned the hard way that my left is not what it needs to be. But there again, I was able to get on the table with some people right arm, and I gained even more confidence in my right. So it wasn't a complete loss, but yeah, I definitely was not feeling too good about my left when I got off the table with John. And the fact is, my left is still a good arm. I went and won the tournament still, against some pretty good guys afterwards. But John's really leveled up. I'm not ashamed to have lost to him. I promise you, he's going to hurt some feelings left. That dude's bad.
I think overall, a lot of people underestimate him as a puller.
Yeah.
Not you, like other people.
Yeah.
Was there a weight difference between you guys?
No. We both made 242. I think he had to cut. I walk around between 235 and 242. I just came in my walk around weight. But no, I mean,
you put some weight on.
There was definitely no excuse. I mean, he cut a bunch of weight for that, but there's no excuse weight wise. Hell, when I was super heavyweight, I was pulling guys that outweighed me 150 pounds regular, and beating them. So I don't really, especially if we're within 5 pounds of each other, there's no excuse other than he was the better man. And my left truly is not what it normally is quite, so I decided that I wasn't going to take any more left arm matches until it's capable of doing what my right does in the gym when I'm doing all my vectors and pulling. We're gonna keep it just right arm. My right arm will be my super match arm, and my left arm will be maybe my just have a good time at the tournament arm until it comes back fully. But But John definitely illustrated the fact that my left arm was not what it needed to be, and showed me pretty good on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, we got Candy in the chat saying Paul with the side view.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at one of my monitors. She was getting on to me about that. I was doing that on a different one, so let me see if I can.
It's funny. Me and Ryan were literally just discussing this before you got on. I have a camera directly in my face, so I can look at the camera while I'm talking. But the side view does really make more sense.
Yeah. All right. Now you're on a different monitor, so I'm looking directly at you.
So what's the plan for the left? You said it's not 100%. How do you get there? Just rest or?
I've been using a lot of BPC, a lot of TB, and I don't know if y'all have heard of the ARA 290, but if you haven't, research it. It's definitely, honestly, I like it better than BPC and TB. It's better.
That's big shoes to fill.
It is. I'm a big fan of all. I think the three work extremely synergistically. I'm going to be, I've been using it on my shoulder, elbow, and wrist, and I'm going to continue. And it's helping. I'm going to make sure I train smart and don't aggravate things and let it heal. Take some time off from these big matches left. Let my right arm kind of carry the load for a while, and then try to, when it catches up eventually, which it may be a few weeks, it may be a few months, it may be a year, but it's like I said, it's still a good arm. It's just not good enough to pull on the level that I've been trying to pull on right now. It's just banged up as part of the sport. I've been pulling 10 years, and something on one of my shoulders or elbows or wrist has been hurting somewhere for the last 10 years. So it's part of the sport. You're constantly hurting. And I deal with it pretty well. That's one reason I still take a lot of these matches is, a lot of the times I don't use pain as an excuse. I'm like, hey, I can still get in here and do this. I'm real bad about lying to myself, and convincing myself I'm good when I'm probably not. So that's probably another thing I need to work on a little bit. I had convinced myself my left was in better shape than it was. I wanted it to be, and found out the hard way that John is a bad dude and he's completely legit. And then, B, that my left's a little, behind my right. So it was overall though, I mean, like I said, it probably sounds like I'm trying to make excuses, but there's still not many people that can beat me left-handed. John's one of them though. And but it was overall a good experience. I got to bang in there with Matt and right-handed, and I got to bang in there with Artem and John Therian and a few other pretty good pullers. I even got to pull Uncle John right-handed, and I tell you, he's really good right-handed too. He leads everybody to believe he's not, but hell, his right is really good. I was able to beat him right, but shit, I don't think anybody else there beat him right when we were all playing around after pulling. He's really good. He was beating everybody.
His hands are deceivingly bigger than like his frame. He has big hands for size.
He has a different stature and build to him than most. When I met him, but he's gotten himself in good shape though. I mean, he's solid. He's solid as hell looking. Yeah,
I mean, when he came to Winter Blast, he pulled every single class, and he did well in all of them. And he pulled up a lot of classes. I was like, wow, he's a lot better than, I guess when I first started knowing about him, it was like, oh, he's a podcaster. He's funny. I didn't picture him as being like a killer on the table.
I don't think he was as much then but he definitely is now. And that's from him. According to me and him hit it off pretty well. We got along good. He's actually a really good guy. He got with Jonathan Breda and Herman Stevens, two of the better people you can possibly align yourself with to start training him. And they helped him level up. They showed him a lot of technique, a lot of gym time, a lot of workouts he could do to improve himself. He really put in the time in the gym, according to him, that a lot have. And me, if there's a way to train and try any harder for this sport, I don't know it. I can honestly say I give it 110% day in, day out, week in, week out for the last 10 years. If I can do it, I do it. That's just how I'm wired. I think people who come from like maybe an MMA background, you got to have an insane work ethic to be successful at that sport on any level. Otherwise, you're going to get out there and get your brains beat in one time, and that'll be your MMA career. But if you put in the work, and you can get out there and be successful, but it takes a lot. So if you take that work ethic and apply it to arm wrestling, one thing I've noticed is, for the most part, a lot of arm wrestlers are pretty lazy. They don't put in the work. The better guys do. And that's what it takes. But when you get somebody with that type of MMA style work ethic, and you put it into arm wrestling, you'll progress pretty fast. Because you got to constantly learn the technique and then be conditioning. The muscles and tendons and ligaments and everything to be able to apply those pressures at a higher level as well.
Yeah. So do you have anything lined up that you're allowed to talk about? Any matches or?
No. That was the last thing I had lined up. Now I'm talking with Knuckles up a little bit about some stuff, but
yeah.
I've got some lower level guys, and that's a constant calling me out, wanting to try to arm wrestle me for my rank. Yeah. I'm not extremely interested in that at the moment. I kind of want to take the rest of the year and rest a little bit. I've been very active this year, but honestly, I'm always open for a good opportunity. If something comes along and it's a good opportunity right-handed, I jump all over it.
Yeah.
The thing about it, there will never be a time when I'm not allowed to talk about something. I won't ever let myself get in that situation. Honestly, if I'm working with somebody and the promoter's like, you don't need to say this or that, I'm like, listen, man, it's not that serious to me. If I feel like I want to talk about it, I'm going to. And that might be why I don't get certain opportunities, That's how I'm wired.
Well, I mean, you see what's going on with these weird fucking bands and fucking shit like that.
I'm not afraid to piss some people off. Yeah, exactly. That whole East-West qualifier thing we did, not even qualifier, but Challenger Series, I guess they didn't really specifically say it, but I definitely felt very strongly, and I guess I may have been led to believe that if you won that you would, be on the short list for a main card match.
Everyone believed that, I think, and I think it was all bullshit, actually.
You're absolutely right, and when I very politely spoke out about it, because there were some things being said out there. I was like, well, he was saying American pullers aren't stepping up. And I'm like, no, actually, I'm trying to step up.
Yeah.
The whole night that when we had our first conversation, if you can dig up that 98% podcast, I think it was your first one. I said, I can't tell y'all how much I'm on board with what you're doing, because I am the sickest person out there of seeing the same, 8 to 12 guys recycled
over and over.
Even if they haven't, and I'm not going to try to name names, but we all know who they are. There's some guys that hadn't even been active, that hadn't pulled in 5 years. They'll dig them up out of the freaking grave and throw them on a main card somewhere. And I'm like, my God, I pull every tournament I can get to and win usually. I've got a pretty good winning percentage. I think I did the math the other day. I've lost out of about 35 or 40 super matches. I think I've pulled I'm 35-5. 35-5-1 is my record. That's a pretty damn good record in super matches. And everybody I pulled is a pretty bad son of a bitch, And I think with that said, I feel like I've earned the right to bitch a little bit, especially when I'm watching somebody who literally is just a good YouTuber get an opportunity or a really good shit talker get an opportunity that I've really earned as an athlete, and one thing I've kind of learned, it's not even really a sport anymore. It's a business. Like in a sport, the best athletes get to pull the best athletes, but hell, that's even the way boxing's going these days. The damn, YouTubers are getting the best matches, and the true boxers aren't even getting the best money matches anymore. If you're not Jake Paul, people aren't interested in him. And, you know, he's a good boxer for a YouTuber, but he'd get dressed up by anybody in your top 10 at his weight class quick. Everybody knows that. He'll tell you that.
That's why he only boxes like has-beens.
Yeah, he does
weird matches.
He's boxing a lot of retired people way past their prime. You know, the hell, he got beat up by Tyson Fury's little brother, and he's not even that good. You know, Tommy. I'm a big fan of the sport of boxing and MMA and arm wrestling, and I just feel like, they're 80% of the athletes on East West are badass and they deserve to be there. But there's a handful that I'm like, no, not him. I much more deserve that than him. But I don't have the social media following that he has, and that's the only reason he's there. And and everybody's like, why don't you just develop your social media? And I'm like, damn, I guess I've either got to do that and play the game or go out to pasture. I don't know, either that or find an organization. There's a lot of people out there kind of building some organizations that's geared more towards athletes. And I see it, and I definitely want to jump on board with them. And, if it pisses other people off, I could give a shit,
I think Knuckles Up is perfect for you.
Yeah, I agree.
What they're doing, I think, is great. And actually, me and Mikey will be there this Saturday, so we'll put in an extra good word for you with that.
I'd love to. I'll pull anybody at somewhere between around the 242 class. You put them out there, I'll pull them right-handed.
You have anybody in mind? Any name that you want to drop?
The number one name I wanted to throw out, and I was going to call him out on his last podcast when he was on there with Andre Shark, was Ryan Bowen.
I'm very flattered.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm very flattered. I'm not taking any matches, Paul, right now.
you know why I didn't call him out on that podcast, though, is he's like, I only weigh 198 and I'm cutting to 185. And I was literally like typing up some shit, and I was like, I don't want to call out somebody outweigh 50 pounds. So I just sat there for a minute. I was like, well, and honestly, with Ryan, it's kind of personal. Match. It's kind of personal with Ryan. I think it would be a fun match. I don't think he stands a snowman's chance in hell at beating Shark. I think that's a joke, and he's going to find out real quick it is. Shark's bad, dude. He is bad. I promise you. And I'm not saying Ryan's not, but that's a mismatch. I feel very confident in the same way that I'd demolish Ryan too. I wouldn't be that confident against Shark at the same way. I think that would be a competitive match and everything, a lot more so than Ryan. But there again, he's got that social media following, and he's getting these big matches. He's one of the guys. But honestly, what stems with me and Ryan is he made a real smart ass comment to my son right after I broke my arm on social media. Ooh. And I've still got it from like 5 years ago. My son mentioned something to him about arm wrestling, his dad on TikTok. And at the time I didn't even know what TikTok was. And Ryan makes this big post about, well, your dad might be able to do something as long as he don't break his arm again. I think that's funny. I'm like, I don't know how funny that shit is, talking shit. I was like, me and you might need to revisit this. My arm ain't going to be broken forever. I was literally sitting on my recliner with a broke arm reading him talking shit about me breaking my arm, which just isn't cool. So
yeah,
I haven't forgotten about it. And I definitely love it.
I tell you, a story like this is exactly what we were just talking about. That's going to get you these matches. The backstory. Yeah. There's some history. I think the people would want to see that match just based on this alone.
His ass needs to answer for it. I've called him out publicly a bunch. He just doesn't respond. He don't want none, is what it is. And I know he's going to see all this. So, finally, I'm putting him on blast in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, the only reason I haven't already done it was I was fixing to, and I saw where he's cut to 198. So I don't know how much sense it makes if he's going to be that damn much smaller, because I'm not going to lose any more weight. I've already lost, 65 pounds, and I'm where I want to be. I'm in an extremely healthy, comfortable weight. I'm really strong and everything, and I feel good at the 235 to 240 range. I can make the 230 or 242 classes, and honestly, right-handed, I think I'll be real highly competitive with, definitely anybody in North America at that weight. So
what would you be willing to go down? Where would you go if you guys could find a catch weight? How far down would you be willing to go?
I've already just lost 60 pounds. I'm at under 10% body fat. I'm not going to really cut much more. I mean, I know he recently pulled within the last few months. He pulled Ron at this weight. I mean, he could meet me, but I don't know that it would be worth it for him to come up. So, the most I would do would maybe it'd be the 105 kilogram, right about 230 or so would be the absolute least I could do. Which I recently cut to that one.
After pulling with your son down in Florida, he might be able to challenge Bowens.
Yeah, he did
But
good.
you know what? I bet you in 5 years, it's at the same weight, my son would beat him. Daniel's a tank.
Dude,
and
he's a
that was definitely something else I've been wanting to talk about publicly is that boy is.
Dude, he's a monster on the table.
Yeah.
He's fast. I mean,
he won teen. He also won the 150 amateur too.
Yeah, I mean, he was so fast off the go. He was getting grown men, no problem. I was like, wow.
The thing is, he doesn't practice all the time too. He'll pull over guys like decent, experienced heavyweight pullers in practice, grown men, and beat them. He's always been a freak athlete and very intelligent too. And the combination of those two go a long way in this sport. If you can kind of understand the technique and vectors, and he's got so much explosive strength. I mean, he only weighs 150 pounds. He benches 225, squats 300. He can hit not only a standing backflip on concrete, but he can run forward and do a gainer on concrete. The boy's a freak athlete. Yeah, he's crazy strong.
Yeah, I had fun hanging out with him. He's a good kid.
Yeah, really. I mean, he's everything a father could ever want in a son. Honestly, I could not be any more proud of him. I love it. I mean, literally everything that he just completely, he's awesome. Everything he does, he's amazing at. So
maybe we'll get him on the podcast sometime if he wants to come on.
Yeah,
hell yeah, he'd love that. Awesome. He needs some exposure because I promise you, he's going to be the next big thing. We were talking to Landon Anderson a few weeks ago, and he's awesome. He's only 18, 19 years old, but I promise you, when Daniel's that age, we're probably, and what's really funny is John Brezink, he came over to the house, and John's like the coolest guy. I'm blessed to be good friends with Ron Bath. So whenever the really big name guys are in town, Ron's like, hey, let's do a practice, Paul. So-and-so is going to be in town. I'm like, holy shit, John Brezink's going to be in town. But yeah. Last time it was John Brezink and Todd Hutchings. I was like, oh my God. And they both showed up about an hour early. And so it was just me and John and Todd in the basement. I was like, this is like a dream come true. I'm just hanging out with literally just John Brezink and Todd Hutchings in my basement, just talking. And Daniel came down there and, just shooting a breeze. And you remember how John broke his arm when he was a teenager and his dad was a pro arm wrestler and all that? So him and Daniel got to talking, and they had the same break, and it healed back funny to where it kind of gave them both a little bit of a leverage advantage as well. It wasn't a spiral fracture to the humerus like mine. It was like the ulnar nerve or wherever some type of tendon that connects right here to the bone pulled off of the bone and pulled a piece of bone off, and they were able to basically stabilize it, and it grew back both ways. But Daniel lost a little bit of range of motion. His arm doesn't completely straighten out. And I was listening to him and John talk, and the exact same thing happened at the exact same age. And John always said he feels like it may have given him a little bit of a different type of leverage advantage, possibly, once it healed back. And Daniel's, definitely showing he's got something special already,
Yeah, for sure. Candy says he takes after her.
Probably does. Candy's a lot meaner than me. I guess I'm the mean one if you really push it, but she's definitely the one I let handle all the. If somebody needs to run their mouth, she's a lot better at it than me.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's funny.
Yeah,
you have a whole family of arm wrestlers.
Yeah, and Candy's a phenomenal arm wrestler. She's great.
Yeah, she plays second at the SPC. Both arms.
Yeah, she's leveled up a lot over the past few months too. She's gotten for 135 pounder. There isn't a lot out there I would bet against with her right now. She's really doing good and starting to take the training part a little bit more serious and do more for it. And and she's been working out and stuff, and it's really paying off for her. And then my little one Henry, he's a little killer too. When he's pulling kids his age, I mean, he knows what he's doing and he's going at it. And he's he's like Daniel. He's been arm wrestling since he could walk. So it's fun. We all enjoy it. It's expensive when we go to a tournament. You got to pay for 4 people to enter a tournament. We all really enjoy it. We're all passionate about it. We're definitely an arm wrestling family.
Yeah, I love that.
That is cool.
It's a lot of fun. It's good to have something like this. Really cool to have a common interest with your whole family that you're all pretty good at too. We're all pretty competitive. We can jump in any tournament and be pretty competitive in any class, that we're in, all of us. So, and we spend a lot of time traveling together doing it. We all look forward to it. So it's a lot of fun.
Maybe that's the future. Arm wrestling tournaments that are family against family.
Ooh.
I would love to find maybe another. I know when I was in Kentucky, so Ben Crabtree put on the tournament and it was amazing. And he called me last night, just checking up on me. And he's got a son that's a little older and a little lighter than Daniel, but they're close. He's like within a year older, but he's within like 10 pounds lighter, so he's real close. And his son's really good at arm wrestling. Yeah. I think that would make an amazing little super match. I think his name's Grondin Crabtree. So, and Ben was like, maybe I said, well, maybe we set up some type of father son deal where me and you go and Grondin and I hope I'm not butchering his name. It's something along the lines of that. And Daniel could go, and that'd be a lot of fun.
That's cool. Yeah.
Plus that'd be something fun to watch. A lot of people would like to see maybe a father son or husband wife versus husband wife.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, or hell, if you could find a whole family that's all relatively, husband and then the wife that are all kind of the same size, and 2 kids that are kind of the same age and size against each other, it'd be kind of fun.
That would be super fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what or who Knuckles Up would come up with against you.
I put it out there a few times already with Ryan. I just didn't realize that he was that light, because I do know when he pulled Ron, he was my size and he's cut some more weight, and I'm not going to cut more. That's one reason I kind of left him alone last week about it. I did want to put it out there that, sometime in the future, eventually, and I'm not saying that he's scared because he's pulled a lot of guys, but we definitely need to have our day. Either that or I get a solid apology out of him, one or the other. He either needs to stand behind what he said and pull me, or he needs to damn apologize, because I won't ever fucking forget about it. Right. Not when you say it to my kid. You know what I'm saying? When you bring my kid into it, it's a little different.
I mean, even just talking about arm breaks is kind of shunned upon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not something to joke about because it's not a fun thing.
It's a very unfortunate part. I've been part of 2. One broke my own arm, and another one I was involved in Craig Sublaire's first arm break when that happened. And if you watch when I was on his podcast, we discussed it some. It was crazy because this isn't, I come from a MMA background where you want to do damage to your opponent. And I don't know, I guess I got a little older and softer and lost the will to really want to damage somebody for no reason. But in arm wrestling, it's completely different. It's a real friendly sport. Most of the people I pull, I love like a brother off the table. And when you go on the table, it's competitive, but you're definitely not looking to harm them. And when it happens, it sucks, when Craig's arm broke during that match, I'm not a very emotional guy at all. I mean, really, but I did get pretty tore up about it. It bothered me bad, that happened. It bothered me real bad. It messed me up for probably a year. I was getting pretty good at that point when that happened. It took me about a year to where I pulled like shit for a long time after that. And then, I called and checked on Craig all the time and set up a GoFundMe for him, and did everything I could do to possibly help the man, because Craig's a really good man. And and in all honesty, when all that went down with me and Robbie Burnett, we were good friends, and he's called me and talked to me about it. Just it's one of those things. He actually dropped out of the tournament. It was a national championship tournament. He was still in it to possibly win, and after that happened, he felt so bad he dropped out of the tournament. And it sucks, because you got the brotherhood, and then when something like that happens, you hurt a good buddy, and that's just a very unfortunate part of the sport. I wish there was a way, we could take that part of the sport out, but unfortunately, it's here to stay. It's just going to be something we always have to deal with. I wish there was a better way to help people when it does happen, because I think there's a lot of people who, financially and insurance wise aren't really prepared for something like that to happen too well, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know what could be done, but it just would be nice if it was.
I always thought it would be cool to start some sort of arm wrestling insurance where people chip in an X amount a month or something. And then if something happens, you're kind of covered for some medical bills or, stuff that maybe your own insurance doesn't cover.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a huge undertaking to pull that off.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I'm sure we're all real busy. We got our careers and jobs and families, and I got 2 kids, and both of them are in a sport, and and a wife and a dog, and they all require a lot of attention. And I try to divvy up my attention as good as possible with everybody, around all my other responsibilities, and it's a lot, and it's hard to take on anything extra. I'd love to get into setting something like that up and hell, working more on my social media and try to get a better presence there. Because honestly, I love talking and commentating and broadcasting and all that. I enjoy it. It wouldn't be hard. I just got to find the time, really.
Yeah, for sure.
And being a family man, my number one priority in life is them first, and then everything else. Arm wrestling's fun, and I really enjoy it, and I'm passionate about it. But the family is always going to be first. Yeah,
that is cool though. That family first, but it's also cool that your whole family is also in arm wrestling, which makes it
helps.
A little easier. It
helps a lot. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun since we are all fairly equally passionate about it. Really, I mean, my oldest boy is as passionate about it as you could possibly be. So is my wife. They just love it. I mean, y'all saw them at a tournament I wasn't at. I had a rough tournament a few weeks before that and was training for Uncle John, and I just wasn't feeling it, and they went down there and they were, and went and competed without me and did well. And I was happy for them. It was, it just shows that individually, like Candy's made her own name. And initially, they all got into it because I did it, but Candy's name has nothing to do with me anymore. She's her own entity in the sport, and she's made a really good name for herself. She's got some big wins, and Daniel, I promise you, he will definitely surpass me sooner than later. He'll probably be one of the biggest names in the sport, possibly of all time, once he really gets up and rolling. That kid's a killer. So I'll always be part of it, and I'll always be the best version of me I can put on the table every time. I think I'll always stay highly competitive, but something about when you're good at something and you learn it as a kid, you just the potential, the ceiling's higher. It's weird. They've done studies, kids that grow up doing the sport from the time they're little are just going to be way better at it than somebody who learned it later in life. I think you learn it with a different part of your brain or something.
Yeah, he's definitely got some skill, man. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I love about the sport is like you came to Winter Blast, and then ever since then I've been friends with you and your family, and then I went down to Florida and I've become good friends with Mikey and Sarah, and I went to Arizona. I became good friends with like Paul Italia, those guys out there, Greg Brown. That's the cool thing about arm wrestling is like there's people I talk to online every day that I consider like really good friends that I may not see but once a year, but still we're good friends because of arm wrestling. I think that's the best part about it. I think
it's a great fraternity to be part of. I guess brotherhood and sisterhood, really. I mean, there's a lot of really wonderful women in the sport that I'm friends with as well. But when I broke my arm, the only reason I was done. That was it for arm wrestling. And then I was sitting in my recliner with my broke arm, and people were reaching out to me and checking on me from the sport. And it just occurred to me a few weeks later, I was like, I can't be done with this. I don't think I could ever, even if I wanted to be, I don't think I could ever be done with this sport. I've got way too many friends that I would genuinely miss, And if I'm going to go to a tournament to hang out with my friends, I'm going to pull. So I can't. I guess I'm stuck. I can't retire. So I was like, I just need to get my ass off my shoulders and get everything healed back and healthy and get back on the table and keep going.
Yeah.
And it took literally, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years to get my right arm back. I was wondering if it was ever going to be back. And then just the weirdest thing, man, I'm Christian and I'm religious, but I definitely don't wear it on my sleeve, and I definitely fall way short of probably how I should act in life. But at the end of the day, when I pray, and one day I had just a lot of stuff go wrong in my life at work, a lot of stuff, and so it was one of those days where I turned off the radio and I just started talking to God the whole way home. It was about an hour and a half drive, and I talked to him about all kind of stuff. I actually lost my job, and I didn't even tell anybody. I was going to drive home and tell Candy and everybody, but I was talking to God the whole way. And we got on the subject of arm wrestling, where I got on the subject of arm wrestling with God during my ramblings on the way home. And I was like, God, if there's anything, if it's your will, please heal my right arm to where I can compete like I used to with it. I'd love to have my right arm back. If you could do that, I mean, amongst everything else I'm asking for help with, I'll just go ahead and throw that in there too, and the weirdest thing, man, I ain't gonna lie, the very next time I got on the table playing around, my right arm was like nothing ever happened to it. The craziest thing, I was like, okay, God, I got you. I didn't do anything, and it literally a few weeks before still sucked. And then all of a sudden I was literally pulling everything I could pull before I broke it. It was crazy. I got on the phone right then and called everybody. So I'm doing a practice this Saturday. I need everybody to come to the house and just literally just ripped everybody's arm off. Right. They're like, what the hell? I was like, it's back. It's back. It's like nothing ever happened. And it has been ever since, It's
wow.
A literal miracle.
Yeah. What a testament.
That's
awesome. Really is. That actually happened. So
I remember when you
don't believe me, grab my right arm up.
Yeah. I remember when you were bummed out about the job thing and everything kind of coming to a head. So that's awesome to hear, man. That's, some behind the scenes content there.
So this may seem like a silly question, Paul, but have you sent one up about your left arm yet?
That's actually a wonderful idea. I think now I pray with Henry every night when I tuck him in, so I'm going to bring that up tonight. My left arm needs a little bit of divine intervention at the moment. Good call. For sure.
Can't hurt.
You know what? It definitely did the trick with my right. So
yeah.
I'm here to testify to that. So heck, maybe it'll do the same with my left.
We'll have to check back with you in 4 weeks and see.
Upstairs was listening. Yeah, I mean that'd be a further testimony if that worked out too the same way.
Every arm wrestler would instantly start praying every night about their arms and injuries.
Yeah, and I can say this: I don't think I've ever sincerely prayed, it was more like I was just having a conversation with him, like I am with y'all. Really, that whole way home, I was just rambling about everything, but. I don't know if you've ever been in that position in life. You're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to absolutely lay it all out for God. And hopefully I can get some guidance here. He'll help me because I'm absolutely screwed. That's kind of where I was at. And I had one of those, just poured my heart out conversations to him. And he was definitely listening because he fixed everything. I was in a bad spot. I tend to get myself in those occasionally.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it couldn't have happened to a better family and person. So you deserve that.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, it just does like, okay, so when your left is good, but you can't pull right, it really sucks because right arm really is the arm. If I could have chose which arm to get hurt, it would have been my left, and now that my right's back, I'm not complaining too much. If one of my arms have to be down, I'm good with it the way it is. If it's got to be one or the other, because the right really is the money arm, so it's there. Yeah. I'm ready to get some matches. I mean, hell, I don't know. Even maybe run it back with El Cesar right-handed now. that's another one that would be a good tough match, and we're about the same size again now. So that's one. There's a lot of top guys. Hell, Paul Lynn, I think that'd be a fun one. We're pretty close in weight now. These are he's a guy I've never gripped up with or met in person either. I think that makes it interesting. Yeah.
Wow. That'd be cool.
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be pretty competitive too. Hell, if I can't get Bowen, Lachlan, I think would be a fun one too. There's no beef, me and him are cool, but I think that'd be another good one. We're close in weight, and I think we'd both definitely bang inside, and just who's stronger is would be probably a very entertaining match as well. That'd be another one of my top picks.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
If there's anything if there's anything we can do to help you promote yourself, we're down, man. That's what we're all 100%. About, to get everybody some limelight that deserve it.
Yeah, in all honesty, I've been a big proponent of what you're doing from day one. When you explained to me your whole motivation and your whole theory behind 98%, I'm like, that makes so much sense. You're like, I could not agree more. Like, this sport is that they only cater to and there's a wall up for anybody else. There's 10 or 12 guys, and they're gonna run those guys ragged, but there's a wall up for anybody else that can't even get a shot.
Yeah, that's why I'm so mad about those guys. What they're doing to knuckles up and banning people and telling people they can't pull there, like, that is bullshit right there.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if I ever got, and this may cost me, probably will, but if I ever got signed on with East versus West, and he's like, hey, you can't do this, I'm going to be like, no, you can't tell me shit. I'll do what I want to do. I'm a free man.
Well, that's the thing.
I won't ever be told I can't do something unless he's paying me a lot of money, which, if that's there, then maybe I'll listen. But if you're not signing a regular paycheck for me, or you're not a police officer, or you're not my wife, I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah. The problem is that it's so selective. Like, they'll let this guy break the rules, but not that guy. And it's like they kind of use it as a weapon, and that's what I don't like.
It's bullshit. He's a dictator. Yeah.
Yep.
He's it's absolute bullshit. Yep. I mean, I've said enough now where I can pretty much count on not doing any more East-West. That's fine.
We're all enemies of the sport, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, screw it. It is what it is. But it's a good promotion. He's got a lot of the top athletes, but, the way he treats people, it's just like when they ran Wall. Yeah. When I pulled Corey West at Wall 505 in the prelims, I was – For some reason, I was 1,000-to-1 underdog. I wasn't supposed to win that match. There's a bunch of matches they throw me to the wolves on. That's when you really get the best version of me too. When you really put me in a corner and tell me I can't do something. And I was able to beat Corey, but the understanding there was I get a Wall contract. Guess what didn't happen?
Yeah, of course.
And the next thing I know, literally on the main card, I'm watching Juji Mufu. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, I understand this guy is a draw, but what the actual fuck? I sit here, I beat Corey West, who we can all agree is one of the best arm wrestlers that ever fucking lived. We might not even get along that great, but I will go ahead and give him his due. He's a bad motherfucker. And there's not many people who could do that. Okay. And I did it at 150-pound disadvantage, and I'm supposed to get a fucking shot. And then next thing I know, I'm watching Juji on there. It's a joke.
Mike,
and I hate to call Juji out, but there's a bunch of other guys that I'm watching. I'm like, what the fuck, what is he doing on here? What is he doing on here? Damn, I guarantee you, I haven't seen an East v West card where I haven't at least beaten half the people on there on the main card. Every one of them he's ever done. Yet I don't get a shot. There's guys that, and we all know who I'm talking about, that get on there and lose every time, but they won't give.
They still get invited back. Yeah,
right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there was a video. I got a hold of one of those guys in practice. I mean, at this tournament, it was on there. I was able to kind of embarrass him. And there was a little bit of shit talking. We actually squashed some stuff. I'm gonna try real hard not to name names because we're cool again. But
yeah,
but it's people are getting on there, and I'm like, damn, I can beat him, and hell, we're close in size and weight. Why didn't I get a shot? And the same damn thing happened with East versus West. I do this qualifier, and I beat Mirzaev, who is a French champion, considerably larger man than me, really good puller. Next thing I know, everything I did is just marginalized. And he ain't shit. I'm like, okay, if he ain't shit, why don't you go beat him? I guarantee you think differently. He's a really good arm wrestler too. And that's who they put me against with a major size disadvantage. And I still beat him 3-0. And I'm like, damn, and then no call. But then I'm watching YouTubers get on the next East versus West card again. I'm like, damn, this sport I was about to retire. Honestly, I got so fucking mad. I was like,
I saw your post where you were pretty.
I might be done. Yeah, there was a minute there, and I was like, what's the end game? There's no clear path to success here. You can do everything right, and because some guy's got a good social media following, he gets your opportunity. It's like, damn, if you're working in a job and you work there your whole life and put everything into it, and you deserve a promotion. And they promote the boss's nephew is essentially what's going on. That's what I keep seeing happen. Something along those lines.
That's why I think it's so important for us to protect promotions like Knuckles Up, because now that they brought arm wrestling back to the Arnolds, that's a huge opportunity for people in North America to have an end game that's like a high level. So
yes.
Those guys trying to ruin things for them irritates the hell out of me, because it's like they don't have to do that. They're just doing it out of spite because they see Knuckles Up doing something great. So, I've been trying to, me and Mikey and a bunch of us are trying to start get all the promoters in the United States together at a round table kind of thing to try to talk about how we can all work together and network to kind of unite North America, so that we don't get swept away by WAF or let those guys take over the entire country like they do with other countries. So hopefully we'll be able to start a bit of a little rebellion here.
I want to be part of it. I'm extremely passionate about it, and I'm actually pretty outspoken too. I just I haven't had a lot of platforms because I haven't really made one, but in all honesty, I got a really large social media following, despite the fact I don't really push it too hard. If I push it, probably, consider, I guess not despite, but considering the fact that I don't push it too hard, I think I'm somewhere around 600 or 700 subscribers on YouTube and maxed out on Facebook and got a few thousand on TikTok and a few thousand on Insta. So, I mean, I've got a decent following, and I don't even push it. If I was to really start regular content and maybe speaking more and doing more, I think I'd get on the algorithm and really push it. But and maybe even become a more regular guest on something like this and share some opinions and insight. And I've honestly, Georgia's a little bit of a dead zone for arm wrestling. There's a major opening for somebody to promote, and I know everybody. I think I could possibly put together a good promotion that works in conjunction with a lot of the other promotions around here and really build it up in Georgia too.
Awesome.
There's a lot I'm looking to do and become more influential in the sport.
Yeah.
But, I think, like I said, the whole premise of 98, that's everything I've just been talking about. What about the rest of us? You got this wall up for a few guys, and everybody else that's in the sport, screw them. But I don't agree with that. It's not screw them, but we are the backbone of the sport. We are the sport.
Yeah.
There's 98% of us and 1 or 2% of you. And in all honesty, there's a lot of us out there that are as good as those protected 1 or 2%. I promise you.
Oh yeah.
We've proven it.
Yeah. That's the thing what irritates me is I kind of called out some people on our podcast, probably going to get some hate for this, but I kind of was like, with the way East versus West is doing this stuff to North American promoters, where are our heroes that we look up to, like Devin and Paul Lynn and John Brezink, these guys that are involved in that? Why aren't they stepping up and saying, hey, wait a minute here. Like, we like being part of East versus West, but you can't come and destroy all the North American promoters. Like, that's not cool. But no one's speaking up, I guess, because of whatever they're being paid or whatnot. But so Devin came on the podcast the other night, and he kind of said something he was kind of like, we should just do away with all other promotions and IFA and just everybody should be under WAF. And I was like, that's exactly what we don't want. And that kind of surprised me coming from Devin, because he's always been kind of against Engen, and now they're like, I guess now he's getting paid enough to where he'll say whatever he has to say to protect that promotion. But, you know, and nothing against that, I guess, you know, if that's what you choose to do. But it was very shocking to me. And he only came on because I called him out, kind of. So, but it was weird to hear his point of view on all the bands and everything. And I was like, man, I did not expect that. But it kind of gave me more fire in me that we need to unite North America.
I mean, to an extent, I see what he's saying. I don't know if WAF it should be the only one, but it would be nice if there was one. It would be nice if there was one, you know, NFL, that's the big dog. But you know, when you've got the big dog shitting all over the little dogs,
that's the problem.
That's not how it should be. No, that's not how
I feel like they could coexist though. You know, like if you look at like baseball, football, you know, you have like the National League, the American League, and it leads up to a Super Bowl. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
If we had something like that, but they won't allow someone else to be on their level.
I mean, even look at Knuckles Up, right? So Knuckles Up, let's say Knuckles Up is the big dog here in the States.
Yeah.
They support the fuck out of us as local guys,
right.
Promoters. They push our events. They understand that our events feed their events.
Yes.
That's how it should be, you know?
Like them blocking Georgie from pulling. I'm like, dude, if you let Georgie come pull at Knuckles Up, he's going to get a bigger following in North America. Then he's going to go back to East versus West and pull, and more people are going to get the pay-per-view because they're going to be like, oh, I know that guy. I met him at Knuckles Up, or I saw him pull in America. It's good for the sport as a whole, and these guys are just fucking crushing that stuff.
The question is, though, are they wanting what's good for the sport, or are they wanting what's good for them?
What's good for them, right. That's the problem. That's the problem.
It's a business. They're wanting to make money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's become about that. You know, when you're picking YouTubers over true athletes because of their following, you're following the money. Now, the excuse I've been given is, hey, we're trying to grow the sport. This guy brings a lot of new eyes onto the sport. Okay, that's fine. You know, work them in there in a way to where they're not getting the opportunity that somebody that does deserve it is getting, though. I'm all for growing the sport. Have some sideshow fun matches, but make sure the people that deserve to be on there are on there first. You know, keep it a sport, and then do what you can to grow it. Have the fun matches. Throw some people out there instead of throwing a YouTuber against a legit high-level puller and watching them get publicly executed. Maybe put two good YouTubers in there together. They're still going to bring all those eyes into it, and it might probably be a more competitive match. You know,
I hate to even do this because I don't want to stick up for eyebrows, but has a YouTuber been on East vs. West, or is it just King of the Table? Because as far as I know, it was King of the Table that does the more of the fun production side of things, where East vs. West, from what I remember, has always been high-level pullers against high-level pullers.
I guess if you want,
it's easy to tie the two of them together and forget that, you know, East vs. West and King of the Table is separate.
Yeah, without naming names, in my opinion, yes, there's been a couple. I really, because I hate to call out people by name, especially right now.
Want me to do it?
Well, you know, okay, I don't know him, but let's look at that was the example I was going to use.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Now, there's a couple other ones. Now, Leonidas, very strong guy. He's going to be good. He gave Brezink a decent match. but also last time he competed in a Florida tournament, just in his regular class, I don't even think he placed top 3. I think he went 2 and out or something like that. God, you're getting a match against John Brezink. Who wouldn't want a match with John Brezink that's anywhere relatively close, But he's going straight to the greatest arm wrestler that's ever lived, because he's a unit. He's absolutely jacked and he's strong, and he made it still interesting. But damn, I think there's a lot of people that probably could have got that shot before him, and maybe even would have had more of an opportunity to win too. I don't think Leonidas is one of those guys. I think he's going to be really good. He's got just freakish genetics and ability, and it's kind of like what's the other guy? He trains in Dubai. Larry Wills.
There you go.
Larry Wills in a like a Brian Shaw type or Leonidas, freakish genetics, and then on top of that, very probably from their social media following, have a very deep pocketbook and access to the absolute best pharmaceuticals out there. And with the combination of all that, they're going to be hard people to stop, obviously, to get in the condition and accomplish what they've accomplished. And it's like what I was talking about with MMA earlier. You've got to add a good work ethic too. So you add the genetics, the work ethic, and the pharmaceuticals and the access to what they have all together. You're not going to be able to keep those guys from the top. But is right now the time? I'm not sure Leonidas could beat me. I'm not sure Larry Wills could beat me. I've called him out before. It may be a match in the future, but they're definitely have gotten the exposure in some of the matches that I wanted. But there's also some people that's got a big YouTube following that have been pulling a while, that may not necessarily be on that level, and have proved they're not really on that level a few times too. But because of their influence and following, even though they've been in the sport, they get those opportunities still. And that's probably as far as I'll go with that. But I think that might have put a couple names in your mind there too.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from for sure. Like, when you've been arm wrestling at your level for so long, and you're being passed up by people that are relatively new to the sport, if you look at it, they're just strong, or they just have like a strength background, and they're getting matches. And really it's more for like a spectacle kind of, not maybe that's not the right word, but it
was kind of like Juji Mufu all over again. That's a better example, but that happened, but it did bring eyes to the sport. But at the end of the day, is it a sport or a business? We got to decide that.
Pretty sure Mike Aiello let him win one of those.
Without a doubt. Yeah. I've pulled, if Mike had taken that one serious, it wouldn't have been entertaining at all. Mike's a real arm wrestler. He's paid his dues, There's nobody in the sport that can't say he's not legit as hell. So, anybody that gets a win on Mike in arm wrestling has accomplished something. He's definitely one of our better guys in the sport. He's a badass. And anybody will tell you that, That'd be another one I'd like to pull again now, healthy, even though he's got a weight advantage. I still wouldn't mind getting on the table with him either, and maybe running that one back.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool pulls up one too.
Mm-hmm. That would be. I'd love that. It definitely. It was a similar situation. My right arm wasn't ready for him. I wanted it to be, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It is now. At least it's definitely what it used to be. So he would get finally a chance to pull me where I'm really at my best. No ifs, ands, or buts. If he got the win this time, there'd be zero excuse. Because like I said, the last tournament I was at, I was able to get in there and bang really hard and get some wins on Matt Mask right-handed. So anybody that does that, definitely pulling at a good level, because Matt's pulling real well right now.
I love that you gave us a list of names now, like for this weekend.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of guys.
Happen.
Really, anybody you put me out there with them, I'll pull them. right-handed, that around that weight, I'm game. I want to be part of I want to be part of Knuckles Up. It's such a great promotion. They're good people.
Yeah.
They're going to be easy to work with. They would support me. That's somebody I could get on their team and really believe in what they're doing and be passionate about. And, I feel like they're good for the sport. They're there to help promote people and help people grow in their careers and all that. And it's just an amazingly well put on production too. If you watch them, it's so well done. So it would be an honor to get an opportunity to get in there and do something with them for sure.
Well, we'll definitely be talking you up this weekend.
Yeah, God, that'd be fun. I'd love to be on one of their shows. It'd be fun. Them and what Magda's got going on, Arm Gods and everything. There's a lot of good promotions out there.
Yeah, for sure. Mikey's doing some big things down in Florida and spreading out all over the place. And
I want to be part of that too, for sure. I want to definitely be part of the next event or whatever y'all got going. I want to do something with y'all too.
Very cool.
I mean, I'm a short drive away from y'all down there in Florida or anywhere. You travel real on that West Coast. I definitely want to be part of that too.
I could talk to Arm Gods too, because Arm Gods is coming to Winter Blast to do their super matches Friday night. So maybe they could get you a match at Winter Blast Friday night.
I'd love it. Yep. I honestly would absolutely love to be, Arm Gods and Knuckles Up are really, it looks like the best people to really get lined up with right now, or some of them at least that are going to try to truly promote you and promote the sport and not restrict you and that kind of stuff. So that's the type of people I want to be associated with anyway. Yeah.
I agree there, man. And I'm trying to make Winter Blast be like a big thing on people's like bucket list to try to come to. Because last year we became the biggest tournament in the country. So, I've been talking to guys like, Sean Hancock's real supportive, Mikey, now we're friends, Knuckles Up. So we're trying to make Winter Blast be like our big thing, So
Sean Hancock has always been very good to me. And Sean has been very good to me.
He's great. Shout out to Sean right now. If out there,
I'll second that.
Prayers to Sean for his dog, and he just lost a really close friend, and he's going through some shit right now. So,
Sean's a good man. He's a good guy for the sport. He's a good person to deal with, and he puts on a good show everywhere he goes. He's fair. He's gotten me the opportunity to pull. Honestly, he's given me more opportunities than anybody. He's put me on the table with Matt Mask. He put me on the table with Jeff Dave, two huge names. He's one of those guys that'll give somebody that deserves a shot a shot. He's given me several. So Sean's always been one of my favorite people in the sport.
It's funny too. I had a very similar experience too, working with him with the SBC. Engen is not a fan at all. Engen actually threatened Sarah if she did the tournament with Sean that was going to get her banned. Never allowed on East First West. Even threatened to end their 17-year friendship for co-promoting with Sean. I had a great experience with him. I thought he was extremely professional. Very, very helpful with running the tournament. There's not a bad thing I could say about him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
I agree. Yeah.
We used him said it ref for Winter Blast.
You said it all just now, really. I mean, that short statement you read that covered everything we've been talking about for the last hour perfectly. That there was no call for Engen to even get upset about that, but he did. There's no call for it. And then, Sean has never done anything but try to promote and help the sport ever and be very fair. You can't say you can't really dig anybody up that could really truly say anything he's ever done bad for the sport other than just be a good promoter. He puts a lot of time and effort in it.
His eyebrows. I don't trust his eyebrows.
It's frustrating too, is that, from my timeline, our tournament was announced first. The SPC was announced before they had announced East First West 14's tournament. If I'm not mistaken, Sean even did due diligence and got a hold of Chan Shaw to make sure that there was not any issue for that date. And Chance gave him the go-ahead, said, no, this is just East First West 14. It shouldn't be any issue at the tournament. And when Engen called, he had this mentality of how dare you throw a tournament before I was going to throw a tournament. It's unbelievable that a guy in another country thinks he's going to dictate what we do in our hometown. This is where me and Sarah live. And you're going to tell us we can't throw a tournament in our hometown?
Or even just in our country. It's America. What the fuck, dude? It's the land of the free.
You're not, well, he tried and he didn't, and he's not. You know, eventually enough people stand up, you know, for themselves, not even necessarily against them, but just stand up for what they believe in and have enough, you know, me coming on here and saying what I'm saying, it takes courage. There's
Absolutely
a lot of people too scared to say what I've said.
You might get banned.
Give a damn. Yeah. I could give a shit. Like,
it's harder for you than like someone like me, because I'm not at a level that I can get banned from anything, but you can.
Yeah, I mean, today probably just did it, and I could give a shit. If you don't like me, kiss my ass. You know, honestly,
we'll find you better opportunities.
There we go.
I'll be all right. You know, at the end of the day, arm wrestling, even if you're world champion, if you're John Brzezinski could probably go to 99 out of 100 Walmarts and not one person would recognize him. It's not like you're going to ever achieve a whole lot of fame or money or notoriety in this sport. At the end of the day, you do it because you love it, and it's something you like competing in and doing. And I'm not going to limit what I can do there and let somebody tell me where I can and can't compete. Or if I want to throw a tournament, you're not going to tell me I can or can't. That just isn't going to happen in a free country. Not to me.
I feel the same exactly.
And I applaud, you know, Mikey, you and Sarah for doing what you did. You know, it takes courage. It does. And the climate of the sport right now, to even, and I haven't said anything even relatively bad, but I've been very matter of fact. But speaking out what little bit I have has probably really pissed the man off. You know, that's just the way he is. A lot of people are scared. I'm not.
Sure, he gets pissed off if someone just likes an opposing comment on his fucking post. You know, like he blocked me for liking someone else's comment. It wasn't even my comment. I just liked it, and he fucking blocked me. You got to be kidding me, dude! I didn't even get a chance to comment yet. I was just reading the comments, and I liked one, blocked. I was like, "Geez." Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, now he's really mad at 98, but I don't care.
How could anybody, you know, I'll try to speak in a way that's less offensive, but how could anybody run any type of organization and be successful long term and be that way? It's not a recipe for long term success. It's good right now, but where's it going to be in another year or two? Your event, you know, anybody that gets on board with you is constantly going to have to dot all their I's and cross all their T's and walk on eggshells. And if everybody around you is like that, how long is everybody going to want to be around you and act like that? Or how long is it going to be before one of them accidentally says something wrong and pisses you off, right? Yeah. You can't run it like that. Eventually you'll crash and burn because of your own ways. You know, it just shows what type of person
he goes crazy on the internet every time he's mad. And then sometimes he deletes those posts because someone must tell him, like, yo, take that down there. But,
you know,
I'll give you an example on Reddit. So I know a lot of people aren't on Reddit, but there are a lot of people on there, and it's mostly anti-Engen. People do not like him or what he's doing. So there's a lot of people that maybe they're not vocal on social media, but behind the scenes, like on little forums on Reddit and stuff like that, they're voicing their opinions because it's more anonymous. And they do not like what Engen's doing. So there's a lot out there that I don't think he's realizing that he's going to wake up one day and he's going to have pissed off a lot of people.
It's going to shift. Absolutely. Like even having Paul on the podcast now and speaking up, you know, when Sarah decides to finally go public with stuff, the more people that speak up, I think you mentioned Brad Grondin had made a post also speaking out against it too. There's so many high level pullers that have tons of stories about this specific thing that they have yet to share out of fear of not being able to participate in the sport they love. And I get it. You know, he holds the key to the biggest stage, you know, in this sport, and it takes a lot of courage, like Paul said, just to speak out on that.
When I spoke out, I got attacked rapidly. I'm sure y'all remember. You know, I said a little bit. And I said it in a very professional manner, being matter of fact and sticking to facts and standing on business and not being insultful. And I got attacked. It was to the point to where I don't like drama. I've got enough to deal with in my life. When I've got 100 people trying to start a fight with me on Facebook, and the thing about me, I don't go very far with insults before I'm just like, hey man, let's fucking meet somewhere and throw down. Seriously,
yeah.
Fuck that. And that's just how I'm wired. I'll talk enough shit, but if you say enough, I'm like, hey, this where you tell me we're gonna meet, you're not gonna talk to me like that. And I'm also a 45-year-old father of 2 that I've got to remember I've got responsibilities and I can't go just fight everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So I'm in a position when I say something and I get a dumpster fire started, I'll end up deleting it a few days later because I just can't stand the damn drama and being pissed off all the time because some random asshole is constantly going to chime in and say something and it doesn't ever stop. A comment like that people keep commenting on it for a month. It won't go away, and there's a certain amount of time I can leave it on there and deal with it before I'm like, this just isn't worth being. I'm sitting in my living room watching TV with my family and I'm mad as hell. That's not worth it. Reading my phone like that motherfucker, I'm gonna fix to rip his head, and it's just not worth it. I can't let it go on. But when I speak up like that, I'm sure this show is probably going to definitely start some shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, Paul.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Oh no, happy birthday, man.
Yep.
Nice.
We got married on my 28th birthday. So
how cool.
Sunday will be my 17th anniversary and 45th birthday.
Happy anniversary then as well.
Anniversary, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit,
any plans? What do you got going on this weekend?
Oh man, my plans are I just had to spend a couple $1,000s on both of our vehicles unexpectedly. So anything we had to do something with is kind of gone. So we'll probably chill out around the house, maybe go catch a dinner or something. But yeah, a couple grand out of nowhere for your vehicles to definitely set your plans back a little bit. But my truck has a nice new drive shaft, and Candy's Navigator has a nice new set of rotors and brake pads on it. So I guess that's what we're going to do.
Happy birthday.
Well, hey,
when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy your time with the family.
Yeah, at the very least, we'll have a good time. Just we got a pool at the house. Probably go swimming and hang out and grill something. Maybe it'd be fun.
Nice.
Just being around the family is good for me.
That's awesome.
What about y'all? Got any cool? I know we talked about a few things. I mean, what do y'all have on the horizon as far as what y'all got going with the promotions? Any good events coming up or anything y'all can leak?
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I got Indiana. I got a qualifier up there, September 28th. October 5th, I'm bringing a qualifier to my gym, Pro Gear Gym out in Brooksville. I'm super excited about that too. What else do we got? All right, you have any more qualifiers? Are you done? You got 2, right?
We're done for the year.
Nice.
No
more tournaments at all for the year?
Our first, no, we got 2 more tournaments.
Okay.
We got Wicked Intentions on October 5th.
That's right. I saw that.
It'll be kind of like a Halloween theme type thing.
Well, hold on. You're doing a tournament the same day as mine?
Yeah.
I
purposely picked that day. I picked that day just to fuck you guys over. And then we got one November 9th that we're planning. And then I think we're done for the season because I don't like to throw stuff around Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So people can get a break and not spend money on a tournament. Spend it on your families.
As an athlete, I'm pulling December 7th too at Laray's event.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Then after that, it's just planning everything for Winter Blasts. That's our big one. So,
is that your first one for the year? Is that what you used to kick it off?
And I think that might be our first Arnold's. We might make Winter Blast an Arnold's qualifier.
Oh, nice.
We're thinking about it. So,
wait, no, Arnold's will come first. Arnold's is what, end of February?
Yeah. So ours would be the Arnold's for 2026.
Nice.
Winter Blast would be like the first after Arnold's for us. So
That's
it's
cool.
actually it's like 3 weeks later. So
that works out. I plan on pulling at Winter Blast this year.
Oh, nice.
Next year. Yeah.
Nice. Winter Blast is stacked, dude. Most of the classes are like 30 deep. Like that's crazy. It'll be fun though.
You know, hearing all this, I definitely want to be there. I'll try to make that happen. It sounds. Cool. I mean, you know, biggest tournament in the country. I definitely want to be part of it. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm sure in that region there'll be a lot of people I may not have ever even got to grip up with too.
Yeah, it brings out it brings out some people out of the woodwork. So it's pretty cool. Like Mikey and Sarah said they were going to come, and now like all the monster women in Canada that are
right.
they're like, we're coming down, we're gunning for Sarah, and I'm like, oh no. So, but that makes it interesting, and like Elsesser, those guys are always at Winter Blast, so you could possibly catch him in the tournament there. Or like I said, maybe Arm Gods could set up a super match for you on that card, because they're doing kind of like America versus UK. So it's kind of like a revolutionary kind of theme, and we're doing the tournament at Valley Forge Casino, which is kind of like a prominent, Revolutionary War area. So that would be cool. I'll talk to Arm Gods and see what they got going on.
I could not think of something that would be I would want to do more than something like that. That sounds so cool. I mean, honestly, pull somebody from England in Valley Forge, kind of a USA versus UK. That would be amazing. Hell yeah, I would love that. Plus, I'd get to get in there and line up and bang with a UK puller, that I would never otherwise probably get the opportunity. That'd be a lot of fun.
Right.
Ryan, do you pay to fly people out for Winter Blast, or it's all organic?
I have in the past. We have in the past. We've flown some people out or covered some hotels, stuff like that. But we used to
He flew me out. He flew me and Candy out to.
Yeah. I know. Like we flew out Derek Smith and Austin Jaggers when they pulled that Winter Blast.
You gonna fly Derek Smith out this year?
Nope.
No.
No offense to Derek. I think he's a nice guy, but on Reddit, if you write anything anti-Engen, he deletes it, and that's a little bit annoying. You should just let people say what they want to say. But whatever. Maybe
I like Derek too, man. That sucks. I really like Derek.
I didn't think he would be like that. But when me and Engen and Sarah Ray and Engen had that little tiff, did you see all the pro athletes come out with a video on the same day talking about Engen's integrity? And I was like, dude, this is so fucking planned. Like Engen lit the bat fucking light, and all these fuckers came out and were like, Engen has integrity. And I was like, I was disappointed in a lot of fucking people that day. Like, wow, you guys are sheep. And I mean, I'm sure I'll get hate for that, but we always get hate, so I'm used to it now, and I just don't care, because I believe that you shouldn't fucking censor something just because you're being paid by that promotion, or like, this is America, and I believe in freedom of speech and the Constitution, and that shit irritates the hell out of me. Like I don't even care about dropping names at this point. I'm just like, dude, you guys are limiting what America can do in arm wrestling because you're supporting these tyrants from another country in a different way. It's just so fucking weird that these guys from America would not support like a knuckles up over someone from another country that's banning people in our country and acting like fucking Hitler, basically. Yeah, that drives me crazy, and that's why I think it's very important that we're doing this roundtable thing with all the promoters that feel the same way. I mean, we already have like 20 promoters on board that are like, let's stick together with America, and we're all gonna have a monthly meeting or something and just talk about networking and how we can strengthen all of us together and help each other promote instead of fighting. If we fight against each other, we're weaker.
Yeah.
If we all unite, they're going to have a hell of a time trying to take over the United States. And that's my goal anyway. I don't want to make it easy.
What the elite pullers have to realize, without everybody else what does it pay you to be an elite arm wrestler, right? I mean, what good is it for you to be the top of the sport if you don't have everybody else to be the top over? You have no fans. Your only fans are really other arm wrestlers. You know, if you isolate everybody else long enough and keep that wall up long enough, it's not good for the sport. I mean, I just about walked away because of it myself, and I couldn't love this sport anymore. I got so frustrated. I was like, well, you know, it was my dream. I wanted to be on a main card, East versus West. Didn't happen. Not gonna happen. You know, and it's because of bullshit, but it didn't happen. And I was about like just gonna take my toys and go home. And then finally, you know, I got to thinking about it. I was like, I don't want to stop. I'm just going to find other avenues, you know?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I could win everything you could possibly win in East versus West. And it's still, at the end of the day, we do this because it's fun and we love it. And that's the only reason. And when you take the fun and love out of it, why do it? So, yeah, I mean, you know, wherever I pull, it's going to be somewhere where I'm having fun and enjoying myself. And I have freedom to do what I want to do still. You know, I don't want to be part of anything else that restricts me.
I mean, even if those guys are trying to say it's from a business standpoint, when you piss off the community, we are the guys that are getting, like, it's not the elites that are fucking getting the pay-per-views. Yeah. It's us. It's the guys. It's the 98% of us that are trying to get to that level and grinding in the gym every day. Maybe not me, but the other 98%. Trying to get to that level, you know, and you go and insult these fucking guys or you limit what they can do, people are going to stop watching it. Like, I won't watch their pay-per-view after Engin bashing 98 and all this stuff. Like, I was like, why is someone up at his level even, he shouldn't even know what 98 is. He should just be focused on like East versus West and above and trying to grow it. You know, for him to make those weird comments about how we don't represent 98% of the sport. And I'm like, you don't understand the concept. Like, that's not what we're saying. You know, it's just a concept of like, you know, everybody under the 2% elite guys. That's all it is. We're not saying we represent every person that's not elite, but he didn't understand that, which is fine. But then he kind of bashed us in a few posts. And I was like, well, that's when I just was like, flipped a switch. I'm just like, fuck this guy. I'm going to talk about his eyebrows and make fun of him. Like, you know,
there's a certain amount of bullshit I'm willing to put up with off anybody. And once I get to that point, I don't give a fuck anymore. You know, it's like when I was in school, if somebody was picking on me, I'd put up with it for a little bit and I'd get about enough of it. And it's time to throw down. You know, you keep pushing me, you're eventually going to get what you're after. You know, I don't like conflict, but if it has to be, then it has to be.
I think he underestimates like people like me or Mikey or you. Like, we have a lot of following, you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of, you know, we have a lot of friends in the sport. You meet a lot of people and people know that we're not bad guys and they see the difference. Like, Engin's out there attacking people and we're there defending people. So, you know, I like to joke around that we're fine with 98 being the shield of arm wrestling against these tyrants. You know, if I
may not be considered elite in everybody's book, but I sure enough have beaten a lot of definite elite people.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I've always viewed you as elite. So
yeah, same here.
Hearing you talk about like, oh, John Brzezinski was at my house and this and that. That's how I feel like when you came to our tournament. Like, oh, Paul Passmore's here. You know what I mean? So and a lot of people feel that way. I think maybe you just underestimate how people view you because a lot of people view you as an elite puller.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, I view myself as one, but, you know, not to sound cocky, but if you can name off the people, if anybody can name off the people that I've beaten as victories that they possess, then I would consider them elite. You know, there's always debate, you know, it's like, well, what's elite? Define elite, you know, but a lot of the guys that are definitely on everybody's elite list are also on my list of people that I have beaten in legitimate super matches and tournaments. So I don't know. You know, there's always points of contention and points of debate, but yeah, I would consider myself among those, but I'm one of the elite guys that has always been outside of the the wall that you got to get over in order to get to be one of those really catered to 10 or 12. I don't know if I'll ever be one of those guys, but I'm as good as most of them are.
Hopefully
close enough. We're on a good day. I've caught a lot of them and beaten them, and they still keep me outside. So
Candy said,
it is what it is.
Brother.
I don't play the politics game good enough. I maybe in my career at work it's cost me too. I tend to tell you what I think and be a little bit more honest than most, and outspoken maybe sometimes when I don't. But if I feel like something's right, I'm all for it, and I stand on the side of what's right, and I will stand up for those that need to be stood up for also, at the same time.
Candy said, thanks, Ryan. I'm not going to be able to fit his head in the bed tonight. Just kidding. He's elite and humble.
Yeah. We'll figure something out, Candy.
Someone sent me this earlier. Let me post this. You guys are going to laugh at this. Look at this. So I got this 98 tattoo. And now so does someone else, dude.
Oh.
Boom. David Marr.
Nice.
So does Engen have anybody with a tattoo with East versus West on it? I don't know. But 98 does. That's two now. Two people with a 98 tattoo. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, and I'm hoping that with people kind of uniting here in the United States, that we can make more opportunities for people exactly like you that deserve a shot, that need some promotion, and like Knuckles Up, the Arnolds, Winter Blast, Mikey's tournaments. Like, I'm hoping we can just start creating big opportunities for people here in the United States, and then when those guys come running after their shit fails, we'll just like, oh, we're good. Now there's a wall the other way.
Yeah. I don't know. Is this the first time we've ever had enough 2 or 3 people on a podcast that really spoke freely about all this? I don't know. I haven't really heard it yet.
No,
this
a lot of people are careful.
The spark was ignited because I'm not afraid to speak my mind, and I don't think either one of you gentlemen are either. Maybe this could have been like the first truly candid conversation that's happened in public. This is what everybody's been saying behind the scenes, but this is the first time I think anybody's ever had the courage to really stand up and say it in front of everybody. And I'm sure we're probably going to catch a considerable amount of flack because of it.
Oh, yeah. And what's cool though is like Knuckles Up coming up with their video explaining what's been happening to them, and then Brad Grundy posting what he did recently. That's what we need. If everybody that's had a bad experience can come talk about it freely and not be afraid of the backlash that they're going to get, that's how we get ahead of this thing.
Yeah.
We need to all unite and talk about the bad experience that they've been giving us, because it's all brushed under the carpet. They do whatever they want. They treat people terrible, and everyone's kind of been afraid to talk about it. Maybe if they see us doing it, maybe more people will jump on board. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, this may have been kind of a ground zero conversation that needed to happen. Maybe it'll encourage some other people to speak up and not be afraid to, because you're gonna initially catch some flack for speaking up about anything and having any opinion in this sport. You're gonna piss somebody off. I can't post the sky's blue without some asshole saying something.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got super attacked when I was arguing with Engen by all kinds of people. But once people saw what he did and saw the truth and how he had really no reason to attack 98, people started to go, oh, that's weird. Why did he do that? But
me and him got into a debate on the wording I used. I said, me and Robbie Russell and Matt King defeated 3 European champions. He said, you did not beat European champions. I said, okay. Is France a nation in Europe? Yes. Was Ahmed the champion of France? Yes. Okay, so he's a French, which is a European champion. Yeah. So technically, That's what I meant. Now I guess maybe he was trying to say is with all of Europe, but I meant 3 different European nations. But I shouldn't really have had to spell it out like that because we definitely, and he still wasn't really understanding or trying to understand the point I was making. I was a big underdog in that match. Robbie Russell took out the Italian champion, same way. And then Matt King took out Vios. I want to say that was Sweden. All 3 of us were massive underdogs. Going into that match, everybody was like, y'all don't stand a chance against these 3 European champions. Yet when we win, and then Hunter Knopf did the same thing. Yet when we win, they weren't shit all of a sudden. And that's been my career. Everybody I beat, there's either a massive excuse or they weren't as good or they were overrated. But when somebody beats me, it catapults them to the top, and I'm just kind of tired of it. Like they make their career off beating me, but then anybody I beat, they do nothing but make excuses for. It gets old. I was talking to Mirleen Valentina. She's a dear friend of me and the family. And, she's been going through a lot of the same things. It's like if she beats somebody, it's either expected or there was something wrong with them. But if they beat her, all of a sudden they're the next big thing. And that's just something she and I both have been feeling like we've been victim of for quite a while, and there's a lot of other people like that too, to where it's, hey, you're.
That's what I was just going to say. There's so many people that have that similar story, and those are the people that we, as a community, need to start to highlight. Just, screw that. If they want to put up a wall, we should break it down ourselves. Because no one else is going to do it. They're not going to take it down. We need to just break it down and start giving avenues for pullers here in the United States and North America that are just as good, just as good opportunities like Knuckles Up, Arnold's. I think those are 2 amazing opportunities. And that's why I'm so supportive of Knuckles Up because, they're getting attacked by these people, for no good reason. Like Georgie was banned. Well, Georgie was told by WAF that if he pulled Knuckles Up, that him and his whole team would be banned. And then he has a match the same day as this Knuckles Up in America at a promotion that he should technically be banned from, and that one's okay. But Knuckles Up one is not okay. That's the bullshit that's going on. How does
that was a good opportunity for Georgie because a lot of people in America. Now, yes, we follow the sport more so than most, so we're going to be a lot more familiar with the better pullers overseas. But your average American puller doesn't know who Georgie is. He's a high-level guy from overseas, and he would get the exposure over here. How could that be anything but good for the sport? Getting exposure to a puller from overseas. And that's kind of what Engen's trying to do. But then, somebody else is basically trying to help him with it, and he gets upset.
Because he would gain so many more followers coming to Knuckles Up. And then those guys will go watch him at East versus West because they met him here at Knuckles Up. And I think that's the mistake that WAF and East versus West is making. Like they're not thinking long term. Like they're thinking, oh, we can prevent him from going there. But they're going to lose a bunch of followers. The more they do that, like now they've pissed off a ton of people that are going to Knuckles Up. They've had to cancel 2 matches now, 4 total since the beginning. I mean, that's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Major League Baseball starts attacking their farm teams. They're
exactly.
Yeah, why would you do that?
It's like, damn, you got your elite guys, but how the hell are you going to build up other people to eventually become on that level? Especially if you keep saying North America needs to build their level. That's how we're trying to build our level, but we're getting shot down every time we come around the corner with our people we're trying to develop. We're not going to be able to develop our people on East versus West.
Right.
It's going to be all the other promotions where we get them built up and developed to the point to where they can compete there. But then at the same time, you're banning everybody else from doing anything or shunning them. Work together. I mean, this really is a brotherhood. I've never seen the sport more contentious than it is right now. Everybody's out. There's just so much team this, team that. And at one point, not too long ago, I kind of felt like we were all together, and now it's not that way anymore. Unfortunately, there's a lot of division, in the sport.
I didn't.
That's one of the things I loved about this sport. Still love about this sport is the camaraderie. You know, and you're right. The division goes against that.
That's why I didn't like Simon's post when he was trying to say, like, I'll put $1,000 against the IFA guys against the WAF guys. And I'm like, dude, Mikey made a good point. He's like, I'll take that bet because as soon as the WAF guys show up, they're banned from pulling in an IFA event and I would win by default. But to say that was ridiculous because how can you compare the two when you guys are banning anybody that's a higher level from competing at IFA, but then you're trying to say WAF would beat IFA? Well, yeah, because you're blocking them from growing. You're not allowing them to get certain level pullers because you're making everybody afraid to pull there. That is the worst thing Simon could have posted.
Well, here's a little inside baseball. So yes, I'm getting my opportunity to pull on the East-West Challenger Series. I was very excited about it.
Yep.
We were warned to not go compete in the IFA Nationals, or we may not be able to go on that Challenger Series.
Yeah.
I wanted to go pull for an IFA National Championship, but I also didn't want to blow my opportunity. So there was a lot of really good pullers that stood on the sideline and didn't go to that event because of that. You know, I say that, you know, I don't want to be told what to do, but I felt like in that situation I was leveraged into not doing something that I wanted to do. And I don't want to live like that. You know, I felt like that was going to lead to something and it would be worth it, and ended up not. So at the end of the day, I didn't go take an opportunity that I really wanted to do. And then, at the end of the day, it was still a slap in the face. So,
and the funny thing is, they threaten you with that, but then you see guys that are pulling both all the time and nothing. They can do whatever they want. It's okay because maybe I don't know. Maybe they have something, you know, they think they can make money or use that person in a certain way. So, you know, you look at like Camille can pull knuckles up, East versus West, king of whatever he wants. Certain athletes can do whatever they want, but then they block others. And when Simon threw their nationals up here, their WAF nationals, I mean, they fucking had IFA guys that won at Worlds reffing and competing and this and that. And I'm like, so you'll prevent them from going to someone else's tournament because they pulled at IFA. But when it's your own tournament, you turn a blind eye to it and you're like, oh, you can come because we need the money. That to me is so hypocritical and ridiculous. And I think that's part of a big problem. I think that like people could swallow the contracts and the bans if it was equal across the board, but it's not. They play favorites. They're banning people that really shouldn't even be banned.
And the bans, they need to be justified.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want to ban an athlete for using steroids, fine. But banning someone for competing with a referee that's certified in a different league, that makes no sense to me.
Well, also, WAF keeps tooting that they're under WADA and they're trying to like get legit for Olympics, this and that. What fucking athlete on East versus West is not on steroids? And who's testing these fuckers from WADA that's letting them all fucking compete and they're pretending like they're complying with WADA? Like, bullshit. What are they fucking testing the refs? Because they're not testing the athlete. That's damn sure, dude.
I mean, you know? It's a very well known that the sport is very and I'll say this. So being employed, you know, at a place, I can't speak completely freely, but I will say that the sport is a lot like MMA was when I first got into it in a lot of ways, because I started fighting back in like 99 before MMA was popular. It was truly more underground than this is. And everybody was on steroids. Everybody that fought, pretty much, because it was still underground and everybody was juicing and everybody was geared up. And it's that way in this sport. You know, anybody that speaks freely, pretty much all the top guys are. And you know, that's the way it is now. When MMA went mainstream, you saw a lot of fighters change, especially when they started testing. You know, like a couple of good examples that come off right off the bat are like Vitor Belfort.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the first ones. It was, you know, obvious he was on stuff. He started getting testing. His performance changed. The New York badass. What was his name? Phil Baroni. Another one. You know, he was a killer before they started testing, and then he changed. You could tell a lot by his physique and his performance. You know, he's an amazing fighter on that, but without it. And so I said that to say this. So that sport did go mainstream. It got the right back, and it got the right mind behind it. This sport is not far from it. I'm telling you, the right person, if we get a Dana White behind this sport with the right funding and right outlook for it, going to take off. That's all it needs is the right person to get behind it. And when it does, and it does go mainstream, is going to be tested. And then there's going to be a lot of the top athletes that we've seen, such as a Phil Baroni or a Vitor, that just kill everybody. When all of a sudden they're tested, they're not going to be able to perform at that level anymore. And the sport will change a lot because of it. MMA changed a lot because of it when it went mainstream and it became tested. But that's going to be part of the growth of the sport.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Hopefully, it would be cool if someone like Dana White came in and was like, let's change this up, you know?
Yeah, you know, I would love to be able to speak with him about it. Honestly, he got behind the slap fight part of that, and it's making a ton of money. You know, I saw an interview with him the other day. He was saying that slap fight is making more money than a lot of the thing, you know, than hell fighting was initially.
Great.
If he got behind this sport and brought it mainstream and put his name on it like he did slap fight, it would go mainstream. He's the type person we need behind it. He's got the right vision for it. He doesn't restrict it. You know, it would go mainstream.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just funny because every time I talk to somebody about arm wrestling, they want to ask me if I slap fight. I'm like, no, that's the stupidest.
Oh, that's like the question everybody asks when you bring up arm wrestling. It's ridiculous.
Have you ever pulled Jeff Dave or Devin Larratt, or do you slap fight? Those are the three questions, because Devin's Devin, and then Jeff Dave's the guy with the big hands. They don't know his name, but they're like, you ever pull that farmer from Minnesota with the huge hands? Those are the three questions I get from everybody. That's the biggest reason I did that super match with Jeff Dave 5 years ago.
Nice
to be able to say, yes, here it is. This is where I pulled it.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, dude, we appreciate you coming on, and like you said, I mean, this could be the first time where we got 3 people on the same podcast speaking out against this stuff. So, you know, we'll probably be canceled tomorrow, but you know, Mikey's Facebook is already being attacked.
It's coming. I'm sure it's going to be. I'll be viciously attacked on Facebook the second I sign off and look. But you know, it is what it is.
But you know what? When we start these meetings for this roundtable thing, we'll let you know, because it'd be good to have someone like you jump on with us. You know, get some guys that have seen that side of it where your opportunities are being stifled by other people, other organizations, you know, and it'll be good for the guys on the promotion side to see, like, hey, we could really make a platform for guys like you and, you know, Merlene, stuff like that, like people that aren't getting the opportunities that really should be their opportunities, and they're not getting it, which is ridiculous to me. So hopefully, you know, we can all help each other out with that and move forward. And that's pretty much what this podcast is about, just to shine a light on people's backstory and what they got on. So
I would be honored. Yeah. If y'all get something going, let me know. I would be a part of it in any possible facet I could be. Help out every way I can.
Is there a Georgia league or anything right now?
No. And, you know, in all honesty, it's something that's been on my back burner to kind of get going. And, you know, with Mikey and Sarah being right there in Florida, probably wouldn't be hard to get with them and push this up into Georgia and grow it a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm down to help in any capacity.
That would be great.
We're hours apart.
Because
maybe
you guys
whatever you're doing in Florida, I can be the Georgia arm of it or whatever. But it's definitely something I want to be part of. And there's a lot of people in Georgia that arm wrestler that just don't have anywhere to arm wrestle much. I talked Sean Hancock into doing a Georgia State tournament, and that's about all we do in Georgia once a year.
Yeah,
he brings his PAL here, and that's kind of all we have. So. There's a huge vacuum in this state. There's a huge vacuum in this state to where somebody comes in promoting right, and I wouldn't mind putting my time and effort into it with the right people to help me, especially kind of get me started promoting or even co-promote with and be part of a team where we all work together on it, somehow and build it back up in this state. Because Albert Gross did run it in Georgia and he moved. But he did several tournaments a year in Georgia. They were all very successful, all very well ran. And since he left, we've attempted a couple things, but people get so frustrated with promoting and all the people complaining and the bullshit at the end of the day to where they're like, it's just not worth my time. But, I would be willing to do it. And if I throw my name in the hat and if I do anything in life, I'm going to give it 100%, and I'm at the point now where I'm willing to do it. So, if we're looking to expand anywhere into Georgia, let me know. And
dude, that's Mikey. You gotta get on that.
I got goosebumps right now.
What would be awesome about that is if you guys had Florida and Georgia, we run stuff down to Maryland, VAL, which they're on board with us and they're friends. They run Virginia, and we run most of New England and knuckles up New Jersey. We would have the whole East Coast.
I love it.
And then you got
on board.
All the Tennessee boys. We're all down with them too.
Yeah, if we keep uniting everyone, we got TAL on board. We got some big leagues on board. Like if we can keep uniting everybody, and we have these meetings and we all help promote each other, that's going to be huge.
But maybe even kind of get under one umbrella as one large organization eventually,
That's that's what we're trying to head in that direction.
If we all truly united, nobody can stand against us. Truly, if we all truly got together, you got, all everything we're doing in Tennessee, Robbie and all them, and then everything in Texas and what you're doing in the Northeast and what everybody's doing in Florida, and we could push it into Georgia. I mean, we would literally have it covered. You couldn't touch us. We would be running the damn show.
And the cool thing is most of us that are uniting are already doing Arnold's qualifiers. So all roads lead to a huge Arnold's qualifier to where that could be one of the main events at Arnold's as it gets bigger, And now that they added right and left and women, that's huge. So to me, like that's how we unite this thing. And then we could start a separate organization similar to WAF, I guess, except without being tyrants and, and more of a round table where every person at the table is equal and we all have a say and a vote instead of like one or two guys calling the shots that fucking have some serious social issues.
True. Have a true like board of directors per se, where you kind of keep each other in check. It's easy for anybody. What is it they say? Absolute power leads to absolute corruption 100% of the time. Nobody needs absolute power. I like to surround myself with people that'll call me on my stupid shit. I have a tendency myself to become a douchebag occasionally, and I like having friends that'll call me on it. I appreciate that. I respect that in somebody. I don't like to be surrounded with yes people. So everybody needs that. If you want to get an all honest answer, you need friends that'll hold your ass accountable and keep you from doing stupid shit. If I'm about to fuck up, one of my friends is like, "Hey, Paul, you about to fuck up. You might need to think about that." I appreciate that. I've had friends keep me from making some bad decisions before. And maybe if we have a lot of us together and one of us starts wondering a little bit, we could reel each other back in a little bit at the same time.
Yeah.
that might
because it
be
will
something
affect
that
all
England
of us.
could use. A good right hand man that could, hey man, just chill out a little bit on everybody.
He needs a PR guy and a fucking eyebrow trim.
Yeah, I mean, we all need somebody to hold you accountable and call you on your bull crap. And if you surround yourself with yes people, you can become like that very easily.
Yeah.
You know who does that for me a lot is Sean Latimer. He'll call me up and be like, "Don't do that." Stop acting like a
very
douchebag.
matter of fact, he's one of the people I love and respect most in this sport. He's a wonderful guy. Yep, he's
great.
Fierce competitor, great athlete, and yes, if he's got something to say, he's man enough to say it. And I'm the same way. Now I'll tell you whatever's on my mind, and I'll take your feelings into consideration. I'll try to tell you in the nicest way possible, but you're going to get an honest answer out of me at the same time.
Yep. That's what I like about you. That's the best.
I'll try to
that's the best
sugarcoat it. But yeah, you'll get honesty out of me.
And it's cool, like making friends with guys like Mikey, successful business owner, knuckles up. Like we all learn from each other. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, but as a group, those strengths and weaknesses start to go away because we all fill those little gaps where some of us are lacking or some of us are strong. It all kind of evens out, and we just become stronger as a whole. And that's what I love about this whole united.
The differences are awesome too, but the similarities are really, to me, the similarities. Not one of the people you mentioned, VAL, Steve up in New York, myself, you included. None of us are in this for money. We're not in this for fame. We're in it because we love the sport. We want to see it grow. And I think everybody being like-minded in that sense, exactly, Paul, same way. I think us all being together, unified, it knuckles up included. You can tell they're in this for growing the sport. They're in this for the athletes. That none of these people are in it for themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not even a good arm wrestler. I just love arm wrestling. I love the community. That's what draws me to it. I still practice and work out for it, but it's just fun to me. Like I know I'm probably never going to be a 2%er, but I don't need to be, and I feel like I feel like my contribution to the sport is not my arm wrestling. It's trying to grow the sport and doing this 98% thing. And that's like what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. And, this is a top sport. You can be at the top of your game and still have a bad day. Before I was sitting outside Saturday talking to a lot of people. They're like, "How you feel?" I said, "Well, I mean, depends on the day. Some days I feel like I can beat anybody, and then some days I just get out there and shit the bed. It's part of the sport. It's hard to. I mean, even people like Brzezinski, they'll show the reason he got as good as he did is he wasn't one of those guys that accomplished a certain amount and then just kind of hid from everybody at local tournaments. He still was showing up and pulling whoever wanted some. And if he would take the occasional loss, so be it. And that's kind of my mindset. You're going to see me banging it out and pulling these tournaments and pulling a lot because I enjoy doing it. And I'm not afraid to put my arm on the table and take a loss at a tournament. You know what? If you're bad enough to beat me.
That's what I admire about you. You'll pull anyone. I hate these guys that duck people.
But I'm not going to go hide. I'm not going to accomplish in a certain amount and then just go hide and only pull a couple times here and there at elite events. Yeah. I like the sport too much. I like to compete too much. I'm a fighting champion, And if you fight enough on your level, you're going to take an ass whooping occasionally. It's part of it. It makes you better though. Yeah. I promise you, when I do take a loss, my training for the next couple months is on another fucking level. I'm sitting there. I'm about to quit when I'm done working out, and I think about that loss, and I'm back in there for another 45 minutes, killing it. It's every time I lose, you better watch out the next time I show up at a tournament because it's going to be another level. And that's really the only way I grow is to get out there and occasionally take those losses and get pissed off and find a way to make myself better.
That's what I like, and you also give people opportunities that maybe haven't even earned the opportunity to pull you, which I like. Yeah. Like you'll pull anyone, someone might challenge you. And if you think they're a worthy opponent, you take it. Where we see a lot of these guys that are dodging people because they don't want to lose their fucking ranking or fucking whatever. And I'm like, man, we're missing out on all these good matches because someone got ranked, and now they want to hold on to that fucking rank forever. And that's just, to me, that's not a true competitive nature.
I'll tell you, speaking on that, so I've got two guys who I both feel are very legitimate challengers that have both challenged me, and they're definitely somebody that would need to beat me to make a name. And they're both, and I'm kind of looking to chill out for a minute. I'm not really looking to do any matches, but I told both of them, I said, how about this? I told them about each other. I said, you two pull each other, and I'll pull the winner. How's that sound? Cool. That's fair, because
that's cool.
I'm not looking to go do a bunch of matches, and I think they're going to work something out. And both of them, in my mind, are definite people that deserve a shot. But also, I'm kind of tired right now, and I don't feel like having to pull both of them. So why not let them figure it out between themselves, and I'll get the winner? I feel like that was a pretty fair proposition, and whoever wins, whatever they get worked out, and whoever wins between them, I'll honor my promise and work out something and pull the winner before the end of the year. But I get called out all the time, and I'm known for taking every challenge. I've had people tell me you need to quit taking every challenge, but I'm a fighting champion. If you call me out, more than likely you're going to be standing across the table from me, and I just like it. But, I'm also getting to the point also where my time is valuable, and I can't keep taking every challenge. There's just too many of them. So maybe start letting them figure it out amongst yourself a little bit,
I would like to take this opportunity to call out Paul Passmore.
we can do it. I promise you, I got a whole list of them on my private messages. I get called out. I probably get called out by 2 or 3 people a month. It's crazy. For the most part, I've been known to take them on.
Yeah.
Or I'll be after pulling with a bunch of people, and somebody will get a win on me after pulling when we're tired, and then they'll think they want to pull me in a super match or something.
And that'll be the only one that they videotape.
Yep, I try. I'm to the point now where it's like, damn, do I really feel like going in after pulling with everybody? Because if somebody does catch me when I'm tired and get a win, that's all I'm going to see on every social media platform. The next day.
Yeah. Kenny said Ryan versus Daniel. Nope. I felt him down in Florida. I'm good. I'm going to decline that fucking super match right there.
So how do y'all like my pronouns? I got under my name.
Bad guy.
I actually got in trouble at work for doing that one time. People were putting their legit pronouns down, and I put that down, and that was frowned upon in a true corporate environment, I guess.
Well, I mean, technically, if that is how you identify, they should honor it.
That's what I told them. I said, that's how I identify. I am that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't think there were rules to that whole identify thing. I thought that was the concept, is you get to choose what you identify as.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And until they feel that you're making fun of it, like I was by doing that, because the whole premise is pretty fucking ridiculous. But then I throw something like that out there, showing and illustrating in my mind how ridiculous. But that's how I like to identify. But that it turns out there wasn't a lot they could do about it, but it was definitely frowned upon. But any chance I get to put my pronouns up, that's my pronouns.
Karen can identify as a cat, but you can't be that guy.
Right.
That's not fair.
I don't even understand what half that shit means. I'm like, what is a they them? How does what?
Yeah,
I don't know. What is that? You're either.
Or like,
I guess we won't get too political, but I really don't understand it when they're like, okay, could you explain to me what that does mean, though?
Right. Yeah.
They're schizophrenic, I think. They.
Yeah, right.
I think half of it is a true mental disorder on some level, honestly, in my mind. I'm like, it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
You're going too far, like I've always been the first one to stand up for people that are getting bullied. I hate bullying. But I think we got so far away from bullying that people can get away with some shit like that nowadays. There's a certain amount of healthy ribbing maybe that doesn't quite get to the bullying part that we still can't do that probably people need. I don't mind people checking me. If I'm doing something stupid, call me out, but that people's gotten so sensitive that and they've gotten so far away from bullying that people can't even call you out for doing something that's absolutely ridiculous, and they just opened the door to some of the shit we're seeing now where people are legitimately identifying as cats and dressing up like that, and we're accommodating that in schools. I'm like, good God,
litter box in the fucking bathroom, dude. Come on.
If you showed up when I went to high school dressed up like a cat, it'd be the worst damn day of your life. I promise you.
Stuffed in a locker. Yeah.
Quickly. Yeah. You would be stuffed in a locker. That's exactly what happened.
Back in our day, me and you are the same age. Back in our day, like if you called someone, let's just say like a retard or a fag, it didn't mean like, hey, I think you're out there sucking dicks. It just meant like it was just like ribbing each other and giving each other shit. It didn't mean what it actually, like it wasn't like a hate crime back then. Now you say that it's a fucking hate crime.
Right. Yeah. If you use the word retard or fag, it's like socially unacceptable. Even though you truly don't, I would never speak ill of a true mentally handicapped person that was, retarded.
Yeah.
But if I called one of my buddies a retard because he was acting like a dumbass or a fag, I don't mean you're gay. I don't mean,
exactly.
But that's definitely, it's gotten to the point now where, just cutting up with people. I used to be a fireman. I saw a really good fireman get fired for telling a joke on shift one time, and somebody overheard it in the bay that was a medic, and they reported him. And that's when I realized that being a fireman wasn't going to be the career for me. I needed to probably find something else because it was just a matter of time before somebody overheard me cutting up, because I like to cut up. So it's time to move on to something else, I guess.
Yeah.
I like to tell jokes, and like I said, I take people's feelings into consideration. I do, but I'm also honest. I'll sugarcoat stuff, but at the end of the day, if I feel like saying something, I'm probably going to piss some people off too.
Same here. My wife won't even bring me in public now. She's like, you don't fit into this world anymore.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I do either. I don't do too well in public either. I get around a bunch of people that start, it's too much now. Unfortunately, I try to stay away from crowds.
Yeah.
And hell, but just nowadays, the consequences for just getting in a damn normal fist fight, you lose your whole life. I mean, if you win, then you're going to get sued for everything you own, and you're going to get fired and arrested and become a felon. Hell, back in the 80s, if two grown men went out in a parking lot and got in a fight, that's kind of it. They most might get a little slap on the wrist, but my God, bring back fighting.
Yeah. Now they just shoot each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's these young men these days. They'll go start a damn fight with you or somebody else or whatever, and when you really want to throw down, they just pull out a gun. They're too, they'll start the shit, but they don't want to actually fight. They just shoot you and then throw away your life and theirs. It's retarded.
Yeah, it's the world we live in now. That's why it's fun to hide in arm wrestling. Just hide in the arm wrestling world. But yeah. Anyway, I know Mikey's probably going to kill us because he hasn't eaten dinner yet.
No, listen, Paul hasn't eaten either. I just found out. I don't know if you saw Candy. He told him.
Neither of you guys ate?
Paul hasn't eaten either. No.
I was smart enough to eat earlier so that I wouldn't be hungry through the whole podcast. Not that I couldn't use a couple hours of being hungry. But but man, thanks both of you for taking the time to do these podcasts. It's so fun. I mean, Mikey's just getting into it and he's like addicted like I am. We just love doing these podcasts now.
I do too. Seriously, anytime if you want to start even making me a regular guest, I'd be an honor.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We have
anytime the answer is yes. As long as I don't have one of my kids' sporting events, call me, say you want to be on this week, and the answer is yes.
Yeah,
I
well,
love this shit.
we go on every Friday night. Maybe I'll just shoot you the link, and
Yeah, Fridays are fun.
If you're not busy, feel free to come on. But don't come on late night, because once we run out of arm wrestling talk, that's crazy on there. I mean, we had some
crazy the best of them. I promise you. I've lived a very, very, very interesting life. I got a lot of cool stories too.
Well, then, hey, maybe you want to stay around for the for the crazy night. I mean, we had titties on the podcast a couple weeks ago, dude. Like, I had to delete it because I was like, we're gonna get shut down here. So
yeah, well, I definitely I've had some titties look me right in the eye before. It's crazy.
Yeah. But all right, cool, man, and thank you. And like I said, once we start getting everything going and stuff, I'll definitely loop you in, and I'm sure Mikey's definitely going to reach out about doing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that just makes sense. He's right there, and we're trying to move. We got, like I said, we got VAL in Virginia. Mm-hmm. You got some stuff going on in Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. There's some stuff going there. Like we could literally get the whole East Coast like in a flash if we all work together,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like if you're starting a business and there's this huge vacuum market just sitting there that nobody's tapped, it makes sense, especially if there's people already there in place willing to kind of help you get it going, and that's exactly what we got. The state of Georgia needs something to come in, needs it.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to help cultivate it. And that, I'm cool with everybody here. We could definitely get it going pretty easy.
Awesome.
Paul, do you know if Georgia's coming down to the October 5th qualifier? Have you heard anything about that?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. You got to spread the word for me out there in Georgia. Let them know, October 5th, qualifier for Arnold.
To be honest with you, and that's the first I've heard of it. My apologies. I haven't, probably been keeping up. I haven't been getting on social media over the past few months as much as I normally do. So I haven't been keeping up with everything the way I normally do. But, my apologies. I hadn't really seen it. So keep me in the loop on all that kind of stuff. And I definitely can spread it around to my team, and
cool.
If you haven't, go on Facebook. You may already have. Our team communicates real well. It's called Team Georgia Walls of Power Facebook page. And anything you want to get out to Team Georgia, just send that. And I'm one of the administrators. I'll go ahead and accept you. And anything you want to put out where we all see it, if I want to do a practice, I just announce it on there and everybody on the team shows up. We all keep up with that page very well. And so send me that. And then any tournament announcements or anything you want to do, Ryan, if you're not part of it, if you want everybody in Georgia to know about it, just put it on that page. And
you know what? We started a 98 page for every state for promotion. If you join the 98 Georgia group, I'll make you an admin on there too.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
You see a lot of the stuff that we got going on there. It's just 98 arm wrestling.
Just 98% Georgia or something.
It says 98, just a number, and then space arm wrestling space Georgia. So if you join that, I'll make you an admin, and then I made those groups for people to promote events for their area, and help. You can help add some Georgian arm wrestlers to that group also. So all the groups got bigger. Like Mikey made the Florida one real big. So I'm trying to get all the states to get big. And that's a way that we can if you throw a tournament in Georgia, you can promote it in, Georgia, Florida, like all the surrounding states so that who's seeing your flyer instead of putting it in like arm wrestling discussion and maybe who knows who sees it, because there's so many people in there.
I'm actually part of it. I didn't realize it. Okay.
Yeah, so I thought I sent you a request back then.
Yeah.
So I'll just add you. I'll add you as an admin.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can do whatever.
Let everybody know.
Yeah, use it to promote whatever you want.
Sounds amazing.
I sent a request to you too, Paul, for that Georgia arm wrestling Walls of Power.
Okay.
Cool, man. This is exactly how we got to keep growing this thing. One state, one person at a time, and just keep going.
Yep. Well, we definitely got something started here for sure. We'll follow up on all this and talk, meet up, and we'll get something really cool going. This state needs it. The state really needs it. You know, there's a lot of people that would be willing to help out too. That want it. So a lot of people will be on board immediately.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we need, and hopefully by doing these kinds of podcasts, we find more people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like in this state, I guess the way to look at it is like Ron's the dad of the family, and I'm like the big brother, if that makes sense. So,
yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, Ron's still the man, but I'm like one of the definite big brothers helping run the family. So I'm up there pretty high in the pecking order. I can definitely help get everything going, real well in this state. Anything we need to do.
That's exactly what we need to do, and we appreciate you taking that on, because that, we're never going to grow unless we get all of us like-minded guys together and just start inventing ways to make this sport grow. Great.
Especially we kind of drew a little bit of a line in the sand today, so we definitely need to stick together at this point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do. That's all right though. The first ones through the wall always take the most damage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you definitely got me now, so we're all on the same team now for sure. Ride or die through thick or thin. You got me. We're gonna see this. However it ends, we'll see it all the way to the end.
Tell Kenny I'm not taking that match either.
Yeah, Daniel's going to be straight scary here in another 2 or 3 years. Especially he hadn't even gotten his grown man strength yet either.
Right,
it's going to be something else when that kicks in. That boy's.
Dude, I was pulling with him down there, and I was like, "Oh my god, this kid!" Mm-hmm. I was like, "Dude, you are on point right now."
He's going to be one to watch. Seriously, just in a few years, I see him being right at the top of the sport too. Yeah, unless the Passmore curse gets him too, and they keep a wall keeping him out. But otherwise, there'll be no stopping him. It's just kind of funny how Hunter Knopf's got on East West because, Doug Ehrlich gave him a shot, and it shouldn't even been Doug Ehrlich giving anybody a shot, but that's what happened, and he snuck on there, and. Anybody that knows the sport knows that Hunter was going to win that, but he's one of the guys that deserved a shot that kind of got snuck on there, and he got his shot, and he showed what happens when you give the right person, a true athlete, a shot.
Yeah.
And then now they got to deal with him. He's in there now. You can't deny him. He got the shot, and now he's in there. And God bless him. I hope he makes it to the top. Well, at least one of us got through, right?
Yeah, right. Well, hopefully we can be those people that change that and get everybody through,
Mm-hmm.
Or we create our own thing and say, fuck it,
Fuck it. Yeah. But that's probably what we're going to have to do. I don't see us being able to reason with anybody that we've spoken about. So instead of reasoning with them, we'll just make our own.
Although Hassan has some shit going on. He may not be the WAF president for long. He's definitely under the fire. He's got litigation against him for misusing WAF funds for personal gain, all kinds of crazy stuff coming out.
I read about that. Very interesting. Yeah.
The lawyer that's suing him from Bulgaria is calling me next week, and he's going to send me proof, paperwork, so that I can put it out there. So pretty soon
I don't have his problems. I'm glad I don't have his problems. That's for sure.
Yeah. But at least it'll give us some facts to go by instead of just hearsay. I can be like, hey, look at this. This is an actual court document, So we'll see what happens with that.
You're absolutely right. I don't form my opinion on people based on hearsay or what a lot of other people are saying. I form my opinion on a person based on my interaction with them and what I think of them. And, I won't get into a lot of detail, but there was a gentleman that I spoke with this weekend that has a lot of people that think a certain way about him, and he hasn't had the opportunity to speak for himself. And soon he will be able to, though. And I was able to hear his side of the story. And there's always two sides to a story. So things definitely didn't sound, but, not a lot of people would give people a chance to talk. But I was able to sit and talk with this individual, and things aren't as they seem after I spoke with him.
Yeah.
It just sucks. Like in this country, a lot of the times you're now guilty until proven innocent. And that sucks. I would hate to have some hard accusations made against me and not even be able to defend myself about it, publicly until it goes to court because my lawyers told me not to.
Yeah.
But that's really all I can say right now. But there's a lot of interesting stories out there, and if you give people an opportunity to talk to you and listen to them, you find out a lot of the things you hear are wrong, just dead ass wrong.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to speak with y'all kind of offline about what I heard and found out this weekend, but publicly, I'm not sure that it would do this person any good, especially with a court date coming up. So
I think I know who you're talking about, but yeah,
I think so too.
Well, I got to end the stream anyway because how long we've been on now? Probably too long.
2 hours and 21 minutes.
Yeah, we were trying to keep these to an hour. But all right, we'll call it a night. So. But yeah, if you want to stay on for a second, we can talk for a minute. But I'm gonna end the live stream and just say thanks to everyone. And Mikey, thanks for agreeing to host this thing.
I want to say thanks to Paul for speaking out, man. Speaking the truth, and like you said, man, it takes a lot of guts to speak out against the powers that be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna pay for it.
Yeah,
we got you, bro. We got you back.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good. You know what? If I truly was scared, I wouldn't have said nothing. I ain't worried about it.
All right. Well, I'm going to end this. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks everybody for watching. And me and Mikey will promote the hell out of this after also. So
yeah, for sure.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I believe so. There's a lot of very interesting stuff said tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, and we are